So courage kept coming up to my mind as I was driving and thinking, and you know how much I do that. So courage, like a recipe for courage. And that could be courage in anything we do. The first time a dancer sets on herself on stage. The mother who absolutely doesn't know how to parent teenagers. What else? Courage to change jobs. Courage to leave a marriage. Courage to get married. Courage to take your relationship to a new level, whether it's a girlfriend or a guy friend or what have you. Courage to try driving in the snow. How about, what other kind of courages are there? Gosh, you guys could write a book there. So I was thinking about 3 things as the recipe for courage. 1 is clarity. 2 is intention. And 3 is surrender. As far as I was thinking to myself, when I feel courageous or when I feel like, God, anything's possible, which makes me feel courageous, I think of those 3 things: clarity, intention, and surrender. So let me talk a little bit about that. Clarity is, what in the heck are we looking to achieve? What's clarity about, right? What are my goals about? What am I looking to have happen? What is the outcome I'm trying to seek, right? What did you write? I need courage to drive in the snow. How about it, Abs? Totally. Or how about in the pouring rain like this morning? Jeez-o. And the flooded, side streets and whatever. It was crazy. But clarity. Do we have clarity for what it is we're trying to achieve, for the road we're trying to pave? And how do you get clarity? So clarity is what? Reading, studying, listening to audios, whatever, listening to some friends, watching a good documentary. Clarity, right? Writing in the morning. What are my top 5 things I want to achieve today? Clarity, 5 things, let's say. So clarity is important. The intention part is more about you, who you are. So intention really comes from you, your intention. So who are you showing up to be? So as a parent, let's say, who do you want to show up as? That's your intention. That's your heart. That's your heart and mind connected. Your intention, like putting a lot of energy behind something, you intend to achieve through clarity, right? So intention. Are you honest with yourself? Why are you where you are? Have you been honest with yourself that got you to where you are? And if you haven't, you know it because you don't feel well. Thanks, Annette. Because you don't feel well. And by the way, Annette, so have you. So don't even go there. You were one of the very first courageous women that I met when I was out and about in direct sales. So I don't even want to hear about it. You're just as courageous. So intention, like if you're bullshitting yourself, about whatever you're in, whatever you're doing, whatever space you're in your life with regard to your health, your finances, your career, your friends, your family, your kids, if you're BSing yourself, then your intention is off and you know it. You feel like dog dirt. You feel maybe your energy is low, maybe you're overweight. You have been lying to yourself for a while, so your centeredness and your intention is off. So get that right, get it straight. Listen to yourself, your real self. You can, by the way, change. Making change is courageous. It takes a lot. I have a friend, Amy Markwood, on this live right now. She's taken a lot of courageous steps to change who she is and what she's up to in her life to feel better, which is awesome. We can do that, but are we consistently doing that? That's intention, setting the intention to be consistent. And then surrender. Surrender to me is like having faith in the universe, right? Just a huge question mark sometimes. Absolutely, Cal. Totally. But surrendering is faith and trust in something bigger than ourselves. So courage, like when I would ever be courageous, you know, like if I drove to Boston, I was like brand new with Touchstone. I remember once spending $1,000 on a table, driving to Boston, staying in a hotel, getting up at 5 in the morning, going and setting up the table all by myself. Total, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. This was like early on, 2009, 2010. And I was like, I never had been to Boston in my life. And I was like, oh, this is an adventure. But an adventure is scary, but I had to trust. So I had to surrender that. First of all, you surrender to the fact that you know that you've done some crazy, scary things in your life in the first place. If any of you have had a child, that's some crazy, scary stuff, okay? Even as a father, that's some crazy, scary stuff. So that alone qualifies you to be very courageous, okay? If you've moved across country, if you moved to a different state, I have a friend who moved from Boston to Florida, took her kids and uplifted and uprooted, and it's just like, that is major courage, and major surrender. Surrender to what? Surrender to faith, surrender to God, surrender to the universe, surrender to, you know, trusting my own inner knowing, my own inner self, right? And the things that I've accomplished. So when was the last time you actually gave yourself credit for doing something that was courageous? When was the last time you gave yourself credit for doing something that was scary? You know, that took clarity, that took intention, that took reflection on yourself and say, you know what? I got this. Cindy, my dear friend right there, she left Pennsylvania and went and took a job in Texas. I mean, like, what kind of courage? Like, what? What kind of courage is that? It's huge courage. And she just was like, I surrender. I have a job, but I surrender. Meaning I have faith in a bigger, an awareness, something bigger than myself. So huge courage. I guess I ask you guys this question, you know, when was the last time you gave yourself credit? And if you were going to give yourself credit, what would you say to yourself? Good job? How do you talk to yourself? How clear are you on your visions of what's happening in your life? What are your intentions? What is your inner knowing? What is your inner trust on yourself? You know, and if you can stay clear of all those things, anything is possible, and you can call yourself courageous, or you can just call yourself zany. I like to say to the team, all right, get zany. Totally get zany in your life and watch what happens. Have some fun, laugh a lot, right? What do you got here? I left an abusive lot. Seriously? Seriously, AIM? Truly. Scary stuff. Most of the time. You're right, Abby. Complacency. Yes. Totally. Complacency is comfortable. But we get to ask ourselves about that intention. We get to say to ourselves, is that our intention? Is that who we want to show up to be? Complacent. You know, complacency causes us to put stuff in our mouth, like the food that we eat that's not really that healthy, no whole foods, like more packaged stuff, because it's convenient. So look at all these words that we're throwing around here this morning. Complacency, contentment, convenience. How are we showing up as parents, and how are we delivering the intention that we want to deliver for our kids? The kids are the future. You know, is the future bright? Is it going to be good? How are we doing the best job that we can do as parents? You know, and that takes courage. It takes courage to get your kids off Snapchat. I'm serious. Get your kids, your adolescents off Snapchat. Period. End of story. There is no more reason for a 13 or 14 or 15-year-old to be on Snapchat. Why? Because it's the most unbelievable distraction to anything they're trying to do in a day. 100 million times a day, they're getting snaps. Ridiculous. So if you're a parent and you're hearing me right now, get them off Snapchat. I'm telling you, it's one of the best things we can do to free them up, to make themselves lighter, to make their heart lighter, to give them more courage to have creativity in their life, to give them more courage to have to connect with people over a phone, over even a text, even being creative on Instagram. I don't care if that's great. But get them off Snapchat. If you're hearing me, get them off Snapchat. Get yourself off Snapchat, get them off Snapchat. It is one of the worst, most toxic things you could ever do. We are robbing them of courage. We are robbing them, our kids, of creativity. I'm totally 100% serious. But courageous. So we talked earlier about the 3 things that kind of make up courage. And there's a million things that make up courage. But clarity, intention, and surrender. So anyway, good Monday morning.